Hello and welcome to this video for Moderato, which is in the Trinity College series Grade 2 from 2016 to 2019. Looking at the piece, a couple of interesting things that hit us straight away I think about this piece is the phrasing of the song and also the use of the slurs and also the movement from the first position to the second position. So I'm going to look at a couple of things first. The key signature of course is D major, so we've got C sharps and F sharps. Just having a look where those are, so we've got an F sharp on fret 2 of string 1, that's F sharp, C sharp, fret 2 of string 2, that's C sharp there. There's accidentals appearing in the song, that's where sharps or flat notes appear. And we've got G sharp, which is fret 1 on string 3. So always worth just going through those sharps, just saying them, F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, and then you know where they are when they appear in the piece. Looking next then, how to address a piece like this. It's quite tricky. It might be our first time that we've played with finger 1 in position 2, so it feels different. So here's a suggestion for learning how to play this piece without the technical complexities of having the bass notes in to start with or doing the slurs. The slurs, as a matter of interest, I've done a separate video on the techniques of slurs using this piece as a basis, so you'll be able to access that on the page where you've accessed this video as well. Well worth having a look to help us through. I won't spend too much time in this video because there's plenty of time devoted in the other video. So the way I like to count these songs, we've got 3 beats in a bar, is not to play the slurs and not to play the bass note. So I'll rest my thumb on string 4 anyway, just because that would be the first bass note that I play. And this is how I would play just to get familiar with the song. So with a count, a slow count to start with. 1 and 2 and 3 and you can see straight away I wasn't playing the slurs. So those notes of course are F sharp, finger 1, G, fret 2, back down to F sharp, E, and now finger 2 for D. Again, counting through, I'll go slowly. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. And you can see now that we're able to hear the tune without the slurs going through. So I'll have a look at bar 3 now, and this of course will introduce the G sharp. So we start with an A on fret 2, down to G sharp, fret 1 of string 3, back to A, B, and it says change position again, so finger 1 is on fret 2. I'd well worth you advise you following these fingerings. So that's our C sharp, finger 2 in the next bar plays an E, D, followed by open string E, F sharp, finger 1, and now we see why. Finger 2 G, and that of course allows high A to be played on fret 5 with finger 4. So F sharp, G, and D, A are played with fingers 1, 2, 3, 4, which you can see is a very convenient finger pattern across those 4 frets there. So what I'll do now, I'll play line 1, no slurs, no basses and counting. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. So now we can see how the tune goes. Let's add the bass notes in. 1, 2, 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. So now we've got basses in and getting a nice feel of how the song's going. And now we'll add our slurs in. So the slurs, we start with a descending slur. We have high G sharp, high G to F sharp. Okay, so we've got this technique where we put both fingers down, the back finger needs to be down, the F sharp needs to be down as well. We've got a nice feeling in the fingers of strength pressing down. The front finger, the finger 2, not too hard, enough to play the note. The back finger's the important one. And as you can see, what I'm going to do is when I play the G, it lasts for the half beat, 2 and there's my slur. So I've kept my middle finger in this kind of bent shape as it goes down to play the fret, keeping it like nice and firm but not too firm and rigid, and then it snaps downwards as if it's coming back into my hand. So you always snap downwards and across, not lifting up, because that creates a weak sound. So the video that I've done goes into that in far more detail, so I really suggest you have a look at that video on the slurs. So now I'm going to play these with the slurs and see what this sounds like. P piano to start with, so I'll do it more in the dynamic. 2, 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. So what you can see there, the second part, bars 3 and 4 were forte, so it went a little bit louder. And we had ascending slurs for the G sharp. So here we start with finger 1, then we come down to the edge of fret, of course, with finger 2 on your fingertip, so you're going down straight through the string. You can hear a nice wood sound as I'm tapping that with my finger, but when we play the note that will disappear. So this is how the counting sounds for that part. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3, just finishing those 2 bars there. So now we've got the whole of line 1 and our techniques for learning how to play a melody line without the bass to start with. No slurs, so we get a feel of how the song goes as well without the technical difficulty, and then we can add all together. So now I'm going to play bars 5 to 8 and take us through those. The first part, of course, is exactly the same as what we've just played above. So we have 2, 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2, 3. Okay, so the second part there, we could see that we have the A bass, A, G sharp, slur, B, and this time I didn't really change, I just kept finger 2 on the C sharp and finger 3 played a D and then my bass note. There's no real reason to change like on the C sharp as in bar 3. If you want to, you can, it doesn't matter, you can choose the best fingerings for you, but I suggest that the fingerings written are pretty good. So this takes us to the second half of the song where we change to, we have an E bass and then we're going to play a D on fret 3 and an E. Now again in my video I've explained on Slurs, I've explained why we don't have to use fingers 2 and 4. That's good for adults, it's quite difficult for children, and even for adults that can be quite difficult as well anyway. So it just depends on your hand shapes. If you use finger 1 on a D, of course it will mean a change of position of the hand, but at this tempo it's not such a problem. So I can see why 2 and 4 were used, because it means that finger 1 plays C sharp, but we don't have to worry about that if we can't do the slurs. We might as well be able to do the slurs properly and then move the hand. So we start with that D. If I use finger 1 for D, finger 3 for the E, and then the descending slur that comes back down, so it goes 1 and 2 and 3 and you can see what I did then, I just moved my finger 1 down. If you find 1 and 3 still hard, try 1 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and again, for children 1 and 4 can be very good. Always remember that the fingerings that are placed in books like this have been done by an editor's choice, but of course they can't cater for everybody's needs. So if your fingers are not strong enough, you want to use stronger fingers, or your fingers are not big enough so you need to use different fingers, then do so. That is the most important point. The fingerings put in might not suit everybody, so always be aware you can change the fingerings to help you.